I still need to talk to a lender because we need to know which one it's going to be so that we know how to write up the offer. So yes, yes. And sometimes you might look at a house and they haven't talked to a lender because you want as much practice as you can get. And maybe you're building a relationship, but really, if you're going to put something under contract, you're going to need to get them further faster. So we talked to listing agent, then we talked to lender.
Can I just say something?
Yep.
I didn't think they were actually really that serious because they had called me and I was like, okay, whatever, they weren't. But I said, hey, would you mind if I hooked you up with my lender just in case you found something along the way when we're looking? And so I had them send their information to Eric just to see what they could get approved for so that we knew. And so they had done it, and he actually did it in a day, did that approval letter like they talked about in class on Tuesday. So we were good to go, and they were so thrilled when we did, because then they already had a relationship with him. So we could do it, and it was just easy peasy after that. And I was so happy to have it done. So then when I called the agent, and he said, yes, if you have a good offer, we'll look at it today and I will send it to my client. And that's how we got it done so fast.
Yeah, and got it accepted. So like,
yes, that's exactly.
My sense of urgency is a little obnoxious, but I really do feel like I'm going to beat it before somebody else shows that house. Now, my script for buyers who are like not really that serious, it's important to me that I have you talk to a lender, because not only do you need to qualify for the loan, but the house needs to qualify for the loan. So I would be so sad if we were out looking at houses that actually didn't qualify for your loan program. And that's an important deal. I mean, I had my little, I don't even talk about my little Spanish Fork
your house.
My little Spanish Fork house won't go FHA. We tried, and it's not even because of repairs. It's not because of anything else. There's some funky stuff with the appraisal. But that's an important thing. And so, you know how many agents even call, so you guys know how to search terms on the MLS. So you can search for price range, you can search for city, down below, you can search terms. So what's hard is you're going to have an FHA buyer or an FHA buyer who's like at 300,000 and they're sending you homes. Well, $300,000 homes don't usually qualify for FHA. They're missing roofs.
Oh,
the siding is falling off, or whatever it could be. It could be because it's flipped, whatever that looks like. So it's just an important thing that if you are working with an FHA buyer, that their hot sheet, their listing alert is for FHA houses. No, it's in the terms. So it's one of the options you can search for. And that's an important thing, because if you're setting up an automatic listing alert for them and they're getting houses that qualify for conventional and not FHA, and they're like, but you're the one that sent me these 3 houses, and they don't qualify to see them. So I'm taking a little bit of time here because you guys are in this price range that you're going to probably be dealing with this a lot right at first. So and it's going to take you a little while to get your arms around FHA versus conventional. And there are ways to have them help. So a lender was working with one of our buyers on the little Spanish Fork house, and he needed to pay off $560 in debt to get a rapid credit rescore so he could qualify for conventional. There are things they can do. So that's the other reason why you'd want to have them talk to a lender, so they have more options to buy. And it may an extra 30 days may make a huge impact on the inventory that's available to them. Hopefully that was not super exciting stuff, but hopefully I felt like it was worthwhile for us to hit there.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. And you guys don't have to be like the experts at loans, but you do have to start to understand some of the concepts of them. And right now you just say, that's a script that I used a lot when I started, is not only do you got to qualify for the loan, but the house has to qualify. So it's super important. We just have you talk to a lender so we know which loan programs you're going to be able to qualify for. And we show you the right houses.
If you're assuming someone's FHA loan, do you also take their interest rate that they bought the house with, or?
Okay, I think you're asking about assumable loans. Yeah. Assumable loans somebody else asked me about assumable recently. Okay, so an FHA loan is an assumable loan. Okay, so if somebody has an FHA loan, your buyer could, in theory, assume their loan by going through the loan process, application process with their lender and assume that 3% interest that they have. Now, I say that in theory because, it was somebody, I can see her cute face, works at the doctor's office. Becca. Okay. Becca on our team. That's why I was like, we just talked about this because she had somebody post she saw in a Facebook group that they had posted that they were looking for seller financing and assumable loans. They had gone to her pumpkin palooza or the pumpkin patch thing. She's like, why are they putting that in there? It's because they're looking for a good deal. They saw an Instagram reel probably on how to house hack. So this is going to come up for you guys because everybody's like, I want to get a good deal on an assumable loan. The challenge is that, and it is awesome. So being able to be like, yeah, that'd be great if we could get you an assumable loan. Talk about the process. If we find one that has an FHA loan, then we would be able to go through and apply for that, and you'd be able to assume their interest rate. The challenge, however, that we have is you're assuming their loan. Let's say it's a condo and it's listed at $300,000 and it's an FHA assumable loan, but their loan amount is only for $200,000. You're going to only assume the $200,000 at 3% interest, and you got to come up with $100,000 cash difference. Does that make sense? You're assuming this part.
You don't get another loan.
You possibly could. It's just not as like simple and slick as it sounds, is that cash difference possibly. Now that's number one. So they'd have to come up with the cash difference or get a loan for the cash difference. The loan could be, it's going to be considered a little bit more like a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, or a second mortgage. It's likely that that's going to be 1% above market value right now. So it's going to be 9%. So the second mortgage you got is now at 9% and you're at 3% here. It could or could not be a piece. The third challenge that we have, so I try to get them in and we talk and I tell them we're going to try and find them, but let me tell you some of these challenges so that I can help them set the expectation. The other challenges is that you have to have a seller willing to take the time. Because the interest rates have shifted so much, those assumable departments, they weren't assuming loans for the last 6, 7, 8 years, and they're swamped. So they used to have one person in their department to do assumable loans, and now they're just getting their butts kicked. And it's typically 120 days waiting time for underwriting on assumable loans. So that can be challenging. And there still could be a good one out there. So I get done, I tell them all of this, and then I go, but there still could be a good one out there. So I'm going to make sure that I search all the assumable loans for you. Does that sound good? But I have to make sure you're ready that it might not work. So helpful?
Mm-hmm.
So an assumable seller finance, there's some just different things. Same thing, you can go down on the MLS and search the terms. You can search seller financing so that you get a listing alert with all seller financing options. You can read agent remarks and stuff like that. You can call the agent and see what kind of deal it is. The third thing is we've only offered on a couple. And because the interest rate was so good, and my folks did have $100,000 in cash to make up the difference. It had to be an owner occupied loan, but we offered $50,000 above list price and we didn't get it because we knew our monthly payment would be worth it to do that. And we still weren't close enough. I was like, so it's all, but you still got to try. You still got to try. And it's so fun to talk about those things, but it's like, now let's go. How do we get to the place where we're showing houses? Do you guys remember? Well, we'll get to that in a half second. Okay. I wanted to make sure we hit really quick the different trainings that are coming up. I think what we should do is do a boot camp here after going through the basics. If you haven't been through a basic CMA class where you feel lost, you won't be ready to do a workshop one yet. Does that make sense? You kind of have to go through the basics. There's uh-huh. You do, but then it's like, now I can go workshop it because you had like a little bit of knowledge that you're coming up with that. We've got, yeah. I have not put one on. It was just what Chris would ask for. Yeah, the book club said, hey, you know what we need? Yep, for the MLS. Ritz is awesome. And of course he will do that. And then, but I would put these on your guys' calendar and set a plan for what your training looks like this month. I wanted you guys to also take the time to engage with the MLS training, your searches, your listing alerts, the CMA stuff, the stuff that they have at the MLS that's on there. And so make sure that you guys are getting into those. The other thing is on office hours. I know people are looking for one-on-one coaching too, but I sit on office hours with nobody on. I don't know if you guys realize that. Well, like it's your chance. You can ask any questions that you want, but I also wanted to make sure I broke that up. So we're working with that calendar for me as well. So 3 times a week that we're going to be on there from 3 to 3:30. It's just on Zoom. It's not in my office, but you can hop on, ask any questions you need. Chris, you're really consistent. She shows up all the time. Well, and that's the value of it for you guys too, is if you can hop on, you can, if people are actually asking questions, then other people can learn from the questions that are being asked. If you have current contracts that you have questions about, if you have buyers that you're trying to move forward, if you like whatever it doesn't even matter. If you were going to ask about it in a coaching session, you might as well jump on office hours. Yes. Well, it's the same link for everything, basically. You save the same Zoom link and everything you log into is the same Zoom link. Are you on the PC group, on the WhatsApp group? So every day he posts everything that we're doing and the links are all in there too. It doesn't. This he put together for us, but they like this. They like this, Ritz. The format of like, oh, here's my schedule. This is what I'm doing. And I like that he's putting them up every day just so you can kind of plan, but you need to plan in advance. You got to be able to see what's on my radar. What do I need to learn this week? What skills, what am I missing on my skills? So if you're, I think it, no. Did you guys also know that you can request one-on-one MLS training? Well, like you can actually request a one-on-one training with the MLS. I will get the link and have Ritz do it. But if you're like, hey, I don't know how to do a CMA and you actually want one person to teach you and not be on a webinar, they will teach you one-on-one on Zoom. Yeah. So like those are the things as you guys start to go, okay, what are the skills that I'm missing? If you are out showing houses, you probably are going to be focusing on contracts and converting that way. If you're not showing houses yet, where do you think your skill needs to be? What is it? Maybe CMA, maybe open houses. Why open houses? Building clients. It's actually about lead generating. So that's the piece that we go, all right, then I need to attend every class on lead generating I can get my hands on. I need to search if it's online, if it's not. So if you're not showing yet, that's our piece of like, okay, where am I going to find my leads? I got to get my skill set is on lead generating now. Does that make sense of like, I got to focus if I'm not there yet. And once you're getting, and you still probably, me and Grace had this conversation because she showed up in my office. She's like, I'm under contract. What do I got to do today? The good news is that we take care of so much of it. You actually got to go call new people today. You got to go not talk to the people you're under contract with right now because you feel like you should talk to them. You need to go talk to 5 new people because if you don't, your business will look like this. So like that same piece I got started, day 90 finally thinks like, and I was working my tail off. Well, I had all those go under contract and guess what I stopped doing? Lead generating. So guess what happened? I closed those. And then I didn't close anything for 3 more months before I saw any other business come in. And then I closed 3 more. And then guess what happened? I didn't close anything else for 3 more months because I didn't understand like that's the best, most important thing you can do. Same for you, Natalie, is you're like, oh, I'm going to talk to these people, make sure we get to closing. I have to just make sure this goes so good. And we're going to just make sure you go. Don't. Nothing you have to do can't get done do that at 11 o'clock. Between 9 and 11, reach out, talk to more people, call more people, have more.
I'm trying to do other stuff. I'm not hanging out holding their hand. That's not my job.
You still should have interaction with them once a day. Just how's it going? How you feeling? One thing I told Grace was it's a great opportunity for you to get to know the neighborhood and the area. So it's good for you to send them a link that says, hey, I just found this cute coffee shop around the corner from you. Hey, did you know Tooele City actually does this cool fireworks celebration every summer? Whatever it is, you look and find stuff that's going on. Look at the websites around there. Look at Google Maps, go and just search it and send them some fun links of stuff that's going to happen in their neighborhood. And then you'll have that expertise for the next person too. That's the kind of stuff you can stay engaged with them.
But they're texting me 17 times a day.
You might as well.
Take that a
What'd
step
she say?
further. Build it out. So find the events that they have in that town that they're moving to, right? But do a social media post, do a video on it, because video is going to be huge for 2024. That's what they're predicting. Like everybody's like, video is king for 2024.
What did somebody say before her?
That was what she was saying. I gave her my mic.
Oh, good job, Melissa. Good job.
The video, I'm going to let you guys scan this. The video anyways, always is. You might feel don't know how to do video. Just hop on Marco Polo to start because you'll get more comfortable. Don't pay for Marco Polo, do the free version, but do it with your friends and you'll get more and more comfortable with it. And the second side is that I just did live, so I had to do it. It didn't matter how gross or messy it was. I couldn't, I just had to keep going. And 100% your videos just stick stuff up. People, the thing I learned, because when I was new, I worked in a model home for an agent. She was working for a builder. And so she let me work in her model home. And she had short little videos about the community. Well, people had already seen those videos before they came to the model home, and they'd walk in the model and they'd be like, well, where's Emily? I was like, Emily's not here. They had already connected with her through her video though. And that was when I was like, oh, I got to start doing video, because people will know you even though you don't know them, and they'll feel like they got into a relationship with you. Anywhere. Both, however it be. So you could even do short little videos either on your social media or your YouTube page on the basics of so I just had started with why talk to a lender? What about due diligence? What do you look for during an inspection? The difference between an FHA loan and a conventional loan. They can be short little things, but those can live either on your YouTube place. That's where mine lived. Mine now just live on my social media. I got Reels. I find that was my goal for 2023. You guys want to know what it was to figure out how to get words on my video. That was all it took me 3 months. It's I got words on my video now. You kids know how to do that right now. Okay.
No, it's hard.
It's hard.
Old people struggle. I understand.
And then somehow the words always go across my face. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. No. Okay. You guys, we asked for what 4 things were we going to check today? Do you guys remember our 4 conversations? Just simple our 4, I say 4 conversations. So 4 things that, what leads to what leads to what leads to what? How many connections did you have? How many appointments did you have?
Contract.
How many contracts did you get this week? Closings. Ha. Good work. Because you'll remember those little lines. So we talk to people because we are trying to get appointments. And we're trying to get appointments so we can get contracts. So when I say new contracts, this is going to be, I want you guys to record all contracts, not just under contract because you wrote an offer. All contracts. That's a new buyer broker agreement. That's a new exclusive right to sell. That's a new under contract. We didn't celebrate that. Did anybody else have new buyer broker agreements?
No, I mean,
Did you get it signed?
not yet, but.
You got a new lead. Make them sign the contract because you want credit. Yes,
Okay, we're working on a lead.
good. Okay, so scan here. If you guys are looking, like, scan, record your numbers for the week.
Struggle.
Yeah.
How come it seems like when I hear experienced agents, it seems like the most struggle that an experienced agent has is getting a contract when they show homes? How come that is the case?
I don't know.
What is that contract called?
Buyer broker. Just a buyer broker agreement?
Yes.
I don't know.
So you don't think that is true? Might just be my perception?
Yes. Her question is why do even experienced agents struggle getting buyer broker agreements signed before they show homes? They don't have a system. I actually think it's a system. I think it'd be solved with a system. So this,
Trying to like avoid pitfalls that I
yeah, the system is like, hey, let's get together for a few minutes. Let's talk about how the process is going to go. Sound good? I can do tonight at 7 or tomorrow at 10. What's better? And then just really go through that through a consult. Find out what's important to them, what they need, what that looks like. I think some might not, it depends on where they're at in their experience level. Some might not get it signed if they've closed transactions before with the people. Who am I working with right now that I'm like, I'm sure. It depends on the agent. I was just going to say, and how they run their business. I think for you guys, so I actually think this is really simple. So like both Natalie and Grace were like, hey, I have a lead I'm working on. I'm like, great, go to Jeanette and say, hey, send out the buyer packet. Okay. And you go to your clients. If you've already sat down, so that was the thing. Grace had already sat down. They already said they wanted to work with her, but she didn't have a buyer broker agreement. I'm like, perfect. Just say, hey, my transaction coordinator is going to send out our brokerage docs and get you started on the on a buyer file. Now they had already gone through it, but didn't get it signed in person. So that happened before they started going through and getting serious about writing offers. You guys can choose whether, no. Well, I had to step back and say, you guys can choose. You guys are independent contractors. I'm not going to tell you you can't show a house without having a buyer broker agreement. That's your guys' decision. But it's so important that you realize it's not that you work for free. If you do it, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to get. And does it serve them? Are you clear about what you're doing to help them? And are they clear about their relationship with you? So, Kevin's, did you watch Kevin's thing I sent you? I totally agree.
He's funny.
I like Kevin.
After he walks through the house, he gets a safe distance away from the house, and then he goes, hey, how are you guys, like, he discusses it with them, and he says, great, let's go back to my office. I've given you your one look. If you choose to work with me now, then.
Yes.
Well, and that might be a buyer broker agreement. It might be anything. So he says he does his first piece of candy is free, whatever that
It's
is.
free.
So if somebody's asking for information about the market, not being like, no, I can't do that. But here, let me serve you. Let me show you what I do for people. And then we get into relationship.
Just don't screw it up like me.
Here.
Contract to do those things, right? But need it in writing. There's no verbal.
What do you mean?
So like when we were studying for all of our tests.
Oh, let me explain. So kind of, but not really. So did Amber, let's use Amber's situation. Did Amber have a verbal contract with the buyer she was showing?
No,
She didn't.
Right, like taking our test to like learn how to be a real estate agent, and did teach us anything to be a real estate agent.
Yes.
Like it talks about.
Closer so she can hear too.
Sorry.
We'll go
It
together.
talks about how when you get contracts, or maybe it wasn't even the word contract, because again, it's all new to me. You get into an agreement, lots of times it's a verbal agreement, and you're still bound as an agent.
It's implied
Implied.
agency. Implied agency.
Showing them one deal is like an implied agency.
So then it makes it easier to do BBA, so what, right?
Hey, Angie,
Yes,
just want to share something.
yes.
I'll take over on the slides.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to share this, the buyer broker agreement advantages, because this is one of the things that agents I hear they're struggling with. It's like the mindset about how to offer the BPA. And Shoni also highlighted about it is to protect a buyer from several potential risks. So if you apply this, and maybe you can give some insights about this as well, Angie.
Absolutely. So the thing is the question for me too, is we start even looking at this list and you say, they struggle to get it done. There's so many different situations that we could look at this idea and this idea. The thing is that one will be, do you know the person or do you not? So as far as would I go show somebody, it depends. Are you meeting them and are you trying to convert them as a lead? Are they somebody you met on KSL? It's likely you're going to need to go to the house to show them the house so you can meet them. I don't know whether I'd necessarily say that's implied agency at that point. Now, the third house, that sounds a little different. So what Ritz is saying too is the difference between now that I've had that, my next goal is to let's work on education, let's work on our relationship and decide if we're going to work together. And so the reason anybody, whether you've been in the business a day or 10 years, I think the struggle is being able to define your value proposition and understand your worth. I also would highly recommend that there's a word that really bothers me that real estate agents use. Well, 2 words, use me. I don't like it when people are like, use me. You're hiring me. Realizing that matters in the way that we represent ourselves as well is like, well, use me because I'm your friend. That's different than hire me because I'm a professional. So I think if we were talking about skills and mindset that has to change, it's actually that. But long before all of the other pieces that come in. So understanding why would somebody want to hire you? You guys worked on your value propositions with Kevin, right? I loved that class. He's just different. He's just different. And so for you guys, understanding why does somebody hire you? How many agents do we have in our office? Even 350. Right? So why are they going to work with you? What's going to make the difference? And it sounds to me like we really need to work on scripting practice to get people 2 things, being able to go through what the buyer consult looks and feels like. I want your guys' feedback. You guys just gave feedback on CMAs. What other skills and knowledge do you guys think that you need in 2024? The first quarter. I don't want to get into November next year. In first quarter, what's got to be on our calendar so that you guys get the skills that you're missing? Like, what is it?
I think scripts.
When you say scripts, tell me more.
How to talk to the lender.
How to talk to the lender.
An inspection report and present that. Just all the different aspects that aren't natural.
So
We have to-
those are good, but what if I'm not talking to people too? Because I'm not going to get there. Lead gen and conversion to appointment.
That's huge.
And
How are we going to tell somebody all of these things that are of value to them? So the value for that buyer, the thing is that you also got to know they need to hire you because they are going to trust you. If that's the case. Now, if they're not, then you got to work on your integrity. But if you don't believe inside you that you're going to be trustworthy, have you guys come across some agents that are not trustworthy? Okay. So is that a value proposition that they're going to come and work with you because you're trustworthy? If you don't have your value proposition, I recommend you start writing it down right now. Like there's number 1. They're planning to work with me, or they should work with me because they can trust me.
But so much of Ignite, I feel like, because I've done it 1.5 times completely, is on lead gen. So for this, I want this, our time different than lead gen. That's just me though.
I love that you guys are all in different spots, though. That's kind of the piece.
They offer so many classes.
Can I ask you a clarifying question? Do you feel like lead gen, or maybe everybody, do you guys feel like lead gen would be easier if you had that knowledge?
What knowledge?
More knowledge of how to negotiate and talk.
Yes, because I was going to ask you before I have to get off. I would like to know, like the emergency situation where I said to you, Angie, what do I do now? Like a hot list of, in this situation, do XYZ so that I don't have to call and I feel confident when I talk to my clients, so I can practice. This is what I say in this
So,
situation. This is what I
I
say
think you
when my
guys have got the
client texts
basics
me.
if you're in Pro U. I think if you've ran through the buyer and the seller on Pro U, you'll have the basics of that.
Well,
Every
well,
situation
right, but
is a
it's
little different.
but
So
now that I know the things I do when, that stuff, just like, hey, here's a random stupid thing. You know what I mean? Just more of the confidence, just how to help us build just a little more self-confidence stuff. Like you telling us these things, tremendous. Like I can't even like bow down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Makes my confidence feel so much better. So I'm like with Chris, where things to just help our self-confidence be better.
the right words in the right moments. Connor?
Yes.
Oh, hang on. I'm coming back to you.
Okay, thank you. I've got to bow out.
Thank you.
So I was meaning like scripts and everything. I agree, but I wouldn't say this time shouldn't be about that is all I was saying. Like scripts as far as how to talk to people, how to like just what we're talking about today. So I think we kind of need it all, a little bit of everything to help us with confidence.
I think we have all of the resources that we could ever need. I don't think that they're organized in one place where we can access all of them, if that makes sense. Because I've learned so many things in Pro U. I mean, the flow code, I've learned so many things from WhatsApp and from the agent website and the KW website, but they're all in different places. Yeah, the playbook, there's 12 different playbooks, all in different places.
The marketing stuff.
Yeah, and there's Canva, and you got to use that. And
He's right. They're kind of everywhere.
That's real. I wish I
Pro U, where's that?
I know Hunter's working on it.
Okay.
He said that, but
I was looking on my-
So
that's
we
the
shall talk.
That's the frustrating thing for me when people are asking for more resources. It's like we have all the resources.
It's getting them the most important resources in the right place. Like even what Rich just pulled up is that's a resource that's already there, and the videos are there and the scripts are there. Okay. I like it. There was somebody else who had along here. Okay. So I have two things that I wanted to cover, and the rest of this took a little longer than I had anticipated. Who actually filled out their numbers while that QR code was up there? Is there a reason why? No, is there a reason why anybody else didn't?
I have a reason why, because I clicked the link and I have a problem with my phone and it didn't go to anything.
Well, that's the thing for you guys is that we're trying to get it into a place. So it's like, how do we organize some of those things? How many contacts did you make this week? Does anyone know their numbers, even if you don't want to fill it out there for right now? How many contacts?
25.
25. Good job that you made. Awesome. Yeah, go for it. Anybody got there? 11. Okay. You know your number. That's all that matters. Not good or bad. It's you know your number. How many contacts? 1. How many contacts? Find out for me. Find out for me. Do it right now. 0. At least you know your number. You didn't talk to anybody about real estate this week. Not one real estate conversation?
Phone calls, but not one real estate conversation. So
Natalie has 17.
Natalie's got 17. 43. 25. Not one about real estate. It's okay. I'm like, it's not judgment. It's me wanting you to go back into your head and think through it of like, did I? How many? One. Okay. But that's like every day, if we're not talking to people about real estate, we're going to be in trouble. 17. Good job. So realize that awareness is so important because we aren't going to be ready to talk about the other ones. And if you don't know what they are, I don't know what I couldn't tell you mine right now because I haven't sat down and counted mine either. But I know I can go in and I can look at my text messages. I can look at I can filter my phone calls for outgoing calls. I can count them down and tell you what it is. And that's important, you guys, because we can do all this dang training and we can put all these classes on. It won't mean crap. You got to talk to people. Yes. Yes. And I have, I want to hit two things. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this, Ritz. I wanted to share one of my so I want to share, I think sharing my 411 would be helpful for you guys. You pass these guys around. And 411s can be in lots of different formats. You guys are finding 135s have done tons of different formats. 411s do. Can I have this? Do I get to have the screen? I don't know if I can. Is this working like that? I want to, I can't get out of here. Technology is my superpower. Oh, guys, it's kicking my trash. I just might need to send it to Ritz and tell him to put it up for me. I wanted to show some of the actions because I think sometimes we just don't know what actions to take. You're like, you told me to talk to people. I don't get it. Is that actually what's going through your head right now?
I don't even know like the first step of like communicating.
Okay. So let's take a half a minute. So who in the room is scared to talk to people right now? Like, are you nervous? Are you having some anxiety around it? Be real over there, bros. If you're not scared, why aren't you talking to them? Okay, so I want you guys to think back to when you learned how to ride a bike. I was an old bike rider myself. I didn't have a bike at my parents' house. We didn't have a bike and I think I was 8 or 9, second, third grade right in there. And my grandpa had a bike at his house and I remember trying to learn how to ride a bike too. So I'm with you. Do you guys remember having training wheels? I don't know if you do, or if you just got on and rode, but if you got on the bike and you didn't move forward, would you fall over? And the moment though, that you got it, you guys, can you think back to that first time that you got it, whether you were up at the top of a really big hill or wherever it was that you finally were like, I got enough courage that I'm just going to go for it. The training wheels are off and you like, I stayed up. Like that feeling, that moment, something had to happen. It was to make that happen. You didn't just sit at the top of the hill or you just didn't sit flat. You didn't just wait. But while you're waiting, there's all this anxiety that is building up, right? Do you know what the number one thing you can do to combat the anxiety of like, I don't know what to say and I don't know what to do and I don't know who to call? Connor was sitting in this on Monday. Oh, you look like you were in so much pain. Can I give 2 seconds of advice? Action is the number one thing that is going to combat all that's happening because you can't have it's just action. Want to share anything? No?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just feeling really overwhelmed and really nervous. I mean, as I'm sure is pretty relatable.
Can I ask you if you talked to anyone? And you're like, no.
No. Yeah. And so actually talking to people, like I said, I had 43 contacts. I kept track of them because I'm on it. I'm trying to get what my goals are. And that alone just I don't want to say got rid of the anxiety. Yes. Yeah, built confidence, but it changed my energy into something useful.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to just share some things that I think you guys might be missing. So if you don't know who to talk to yet, there's 2 things that I'd recommend. One, get your announcement on Facebook or on Facebook. I'm old, on social media, whatever, TikTok or whatever you do. Make sure you have announced it. Next, every person that liked that post, call them and thank them. If you already did it 6 months ago, do it again. Hey, I just started this awesome program. This is what I'm doing. Post something. No, I just started. Hey guys, I'm so excited about this new adventure that I'm doing right now. Post something. Post it. Picture you upstairs. Post your new headshot. Whatever it is, just post. I would recommend you put you in the picture. It will be better for you. But then any person who likes or comments that post, pick up the phone and call them and say thank you. There's your first call. All of a sudden, you're going to start to get confidence from that. If you haven't done a post, do that. That's the start. Because it's like, well, who do I call? If you haven't done a post, start there. Second, yes.
A charity where I'm going to be the drop person and I'm printing flyers from my neighborhood where I'm collecting stuff and I'm going to introduce it. And it's got my Melissa at KW at the bottom on the flyer.
I don't know my neighbors.
That's fantastic.
That's how I'm announcing to my neighborhood that I'm the realtor.
That is fantastic. You got to do something. The second thing is if you guys haven't sent announcement letters, send them because that's going to give you something else to go do. So no worries. There's an announcement letter to your database. So all these people that we're putting into our database, and I know, so the thing is KW used to include the announcement letter for you when you joined, but they charged $300. They only charge $25 now. So it's not included, but I negotiated with the office that we can do 200 announcement letters for $100. The full page color announcement letter. My recommendation is do it right now. It is Christmas time. Make a little letter that tells people what you're doing this year or what your goals are for 2024. It doesn't even need to be an announcement letter. It could be what's happening in my life. And I've joined real estate and these are my goals for 2024. Add a couple of pictures. I'm also planning to hike the Grand Canyon. These are my goals. So excited. Almost like a Christmas card. Yes. So I actually have ordered, I probably need to order more. I have 500 red envelopes that are coming. So that $100 will include the 8.5 by 11 printed letter envelopes. Sure, we'd be happy to help. There's a template that is on your 30/60/90 that if you click on it, you can edit that one. I personally think make it a little more personable than whatever that is. And include pictures, family pictures, whatever you want on there. If you just got married, whatever, you got a new grandbaby, however. And we'll include the print, the envelope, the shipping, the stamp that goes on it, all for that. So it's honestly, that's always, I have red envelopes. If you want red envelopes, I ordered 500. I can order more, but I have 200 coming for Connor. $100 for 200 letters to go out. You could do that as well. Yes, you. So that would be like a huge goal, though. I will tell you that direct mail does matter. It will go to them. They will touch it. You then know who to call, right?
So I make it up then for $100.
Then Molly will help us get it printed. And then you are going to be responsible to have the information. So if I don't have a spreadsheet, or if you don't have a spreadsheet that has the name, address, all the stuff, then they can get it exported. It could go into labels or you could handwrite them. Yes. If you want it before Christmas, it's only, what's today, the 6th? 7th.
Going on in your life and all the things coming in the mail. Would it be smarter to send it out the first of the year? Anyway,
You decide.
I don't get all these Christmas letters like I used to. I don't think people are doing this. At least in my life, I'm not getting a ton of Christmas letters.
I get a lot of Christmas cards, but it's because I've done Christmas cards to my whole database for 10 years. So I get a lot back, but when I started, I only had 2 or 3 that I got. So for me, I do a card. My Christmas cards are totally personal. I don't do anything real estate on them. And then we deliver pies. So which are from the team, from me for real estate. That's separate that I do personally. So we'll have, I've delivered 75 pies so far this week, hand delivered pies to people or who refer me business. So we'll do a total of 175 by the end of the week. Village Inn. I know they're more expensive than anywhere else, but I have to be true to my roots. Yes.
Starting out,
Hey, I would just make it an announcement. I'm so excited to share my new life. Yeah, I have great news. And you could do just that. So if you click on your 30, 60, 90, it's in there. But I recommend that that's a worthwhile $100. Connor asked, should I pay for these leads? It's $500. That was the leading question he leaded with me. And you saw everybody else on there said no, right? The $100 to your database, yes. Do everything you can to build into this database. If you're gonna survive this business, you have got to pour into the database. You've got to figure out how to get the names, and then you got to call them and talk to them. Okay. All those people you guys already called your first month, you should be sending them the letter. You got to get those letters put together. Do you guys want, if I'm going to be sending mine out on, mine actually aren't going to show up till the 12th. I shouldn't have told you that because I think I told you the 11th. By next, so I'll get them, I'll help you guys. So anybody who wants to reach out to me and we'll help get them done. But that is one of the most important things that you guys can do, because you're like, who do I call? What do I do? And that's the people you already know. Then your next step needs to be who else? How am I going to meet new people? And then what conversations am I going to have with them? And being strategic about what's my plan. So the 411, I need to be able to get here. Hang on. Oh, this is mine, right? Can I get in here? Buddy. No, that's Hunter's. This one's mine. Okay, let's go to drive. I'm just going to run through real quick 411 of, that's what my mailing list looks like. Hang on. I just had it on my computer, so mine is up. That's a good format. I'm going to show you guys a couple of different ones that I've done over there so you guys can see what things might look like for it. So this is basically your 135 rolls into your 411. Your 411 is something you use every single day. You touch, you look at, you work with. The 135 is a one-page business plan, but this is our actual action. Wonder if I can make this go bigger. How do I do that? Here, 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 here. Okay, I'm a little funny. If my coach wants me to sell 100 homes and that's my big goal, it doesn't motivate me. So you got to just deal with my big whys. Okay, they're a little different. So this was mine in 2022, but enjoying my journey and remembering who God created me to be, a joyful light, committed to making a difference. Okay. But really, I still have financial goals that are going to help me hit that. On your sheet that you guys have there, 1, 3, 5. So we have our big goals. These are my big goals that year. And they also kind of have different areas of life. So for business, we can, we have personal on one side, because if your personal life isn't in order, you're going to be a mess. So for me, I wanted to ensure that I was living in priority, using my 411, my growth plan, and reflecting on where I'm investing my time. And I needed to be able to track what that looked like. So you'll see how it's tracked down below. These were my other goals. So my health goals were to hike 100 miles, and I actually tracked how many miles. So that year I hiked 75. This was my January one. And I wanted to bike 100. I was at 43 and increase my strength by 50%. So if I bench pressed 50, I wanted to be able to bench press 100, whatever that looked like for me. For me, build connections with my family, my soulmates through intentional gatherings. So I got intentional. What does that mean? I'm going to have 4 family events. I'm going to visit 2 times a month with my parents, and I'm going to have dinner once a month with the Grovers. And I'm going to do one-on-one trips with my mom, my dad, Matt, and Courtney. The blue are the ones I got done. I did not go with my dad. Okay. And complete my gratitude journal for 365 days. So down at the bottom, you can start. Actually, this is November, you guys. I should have more than that completed there. This is too big. On business, my big goal then was to, same thing, ensure I was actually using my 411 because we write goals and they disappear. So I wanted to close 100 transactions with at least 50 listings and 25% personal production. That was important for me that year because I was trying to grow the team and not do all the work. So I was referring out as much as I could and ensure that Jessica on my team could have time with her baby. So at the time we had 100 was our goal. We had closed 41 with 18 pending and a total of 59. So every day or every week I would update where we were at. So let me make this smaller so you can see it on a big scale. And that's this one. So you don't need it to be that big. Okay. So ignore this to the left side. It starts to get a little more complicated. And then you would go on a monthly basis. What's the one thing that I'm going to do to ensure I'm going to get my hikes in or get my bike rides in or be with my family? And then on a weekly basis, I'm doing the same thing. What's my one thing that's going to move me closer to that? I think I'm in the wrong one because you guys are going to feel like this is so crazy because I have my investments. Hang on. I had the right one up when I was looking originally. We're going to keep looking for a second. Haha. It probably is going to be that one. So, now we'll go back to August. I wanted to show you guys some of the production kind of things that I had to set a goal and track, right? So we can't just not know who we talked to or what that looked like. So personal production down here for me, I can make this bigger. This will be a good one. Complete 50 care calls for the week. So I needed to call my database. I intended to do 50. I was at 10 when I had only done 10 that week. Complete 5 CMAs. I got 6 CMAs done that week. Update my listing pipeline for the team. I didn't do that. So yellow is that I wasn't on track. And then same over here. I am not 100% on what I do. So I guess I'm also sharing with you guys that it's not incredible on what it looks like. Complete my 2 hikes, whatever those are. Personal production stuff. Update my birthday list this week, my mailing list, my postcard list, and my magazine list. Make 25 calls, 5 calls per day, and track if I got them done. The next week was invite 50 people to the buyer class. Be really intentional about that. Invite 50 people to Jakers and then follow up on my listing pipeline. But it's just being intentional about what those might look like. Let me come down to these ones. Same thing. What I found is if I started to track CMAs, my listings went up. That was competitive market reports. They're just market reports. But if I wasn't intentional and my goal was 5 CMAs every single week because that was an intentional conversation that I could have. And then it was something I could track. Now, all of these things are lead measures, not lag measures. Lead measures are things that we can control. Who am I talking to, right? So if I do my lead measures, if I talk to people and have real estate conversations, it will result there. And when we get a little bit more intentional and go, okay, as I build my plan, I'm going to talk to 25 people a week, or I'm going to talk to 5. But then did you do it? So we can sit in the classes and we can learn all of the stuff, but if we're not intentional about the actual money-making activities, we're going to struggle. So getting clear of what would the goal be? How many people? So do you guys remember to net your 100,000? How many people do you got to talk to? 9. So how many people did you, if your goal sitting in that class was to make at least 100,000 and you needed to talk to 9 every day, that's 45 for the week. Well, Connor needs, what was it, 13? 13, because he has another goal. But we won't hit the other goal unless we do the lead measure. What's hard is lead measure and lag measure. They're different. We won't know where we're going to go if we don't have something intentional of what that looks like and go, okay, what are the things I'm going to do? What are those areas that I'm going to work on? So my recommendation is if you're like, I don't know who to talk to this week. Well, what are those things? Okay, action steps. I'm going to put together my letter that has to go. Well, that is a lead domino because guess what happened when you did that? Oh crap, I got to actually have my mailing list together and I have to, another domino. I don't have people's addresses. Oh, I got to call people and ask for their addresses as we work our way back. You're in different spots, but do you have 200 addresses? If you only have 50, you just got to get them done at the same time we go. I have to take 200 to the post office to get the discount bulk mailing. So if you want to send 25, because 200 maybe, does 200 feel overwhelming to anyone? You can call and get the address, but that might also feel overwhelming. I'm going to send those on, let's just say what's next Wednesday? Oh, you guys. The 12th? Okay. Then Wednesday, that day I can, if you have less than 200, I'll send them. So if you want to send 5, they don't need to know that you didn't send it to 200. What if you sent it to 5? What if you sent it to 10? Could you send it to your brothers and your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, even if they live in Pennsylvania? Yes. Why would that matter? Referrals are great. My niece just bought in Mississippi, and my uncle, he just bought in Nevada. I've got another and I made 25% off of those referrals. So get the announcement letters out. But the thing is that's the lead domino that makes you realize, oh, I've got work to do. And then when you have work to do, how does it feel? The anxiety goes down, right?
I have a quote, it's been my quote for the week.
Motivation often comes after starting, not before. Action produces momentum.
It's true.
It is, because you just have to have the courage to act and do something. So so for me, I'm like, everybody who leaves here, we got to leave here with action steps and then come back with action steps. Because we all talked last week. I'm going to call some people and you're like, oh crap, I don't know who to call, Angie. Now we know who to call. So you're going to call and say, hey, I'm so excited. So it sounds like, hey, I'm so excited. I'm starting my real estate business. I'd love your address. I'm going to be sending out some fun stuff for Christmas or the new year or first quarter, whatever you want it to be. And now now you're going to call and you're going to get that. And then you get the address and then we're going to work on the letters. Now, if you don't feel like you can get it done by then, just know that I'll still collect, but I have to have 200. So you got to get with partners and say, hey, you do 50 and you do 50 and you do 50 and you do 50. Let's get them all together and have them out at the same time, and then we'll do that. Does that sound good? Okay. Honestly, I think it's a great time. We've done a lot with those. This was, I know this one was a little funky to go through. Is it helpful to see some of the ideas? And then you can also see that Angie has blanks in, I have blanks in my life. So that you realize that is real life. And if you can even just score 80% of the time that you're doing it, you're going to be doing good. So I want to be able to coach to the 135 and the 411. So as you see this, it's like, okay, what's my goal personally? And I think sometimes we don't know what goals need to be. That's why I kind of just wanted to share with you guys, like, what would my goals look like, even on a personal level? Like, where's my one right now? I tracked actually family dinners. That was a matrix for me on improving my home life, because it's really easy for me to measure how many people I talk to and how much money I make. And I kind of have a mess in the other parts of my life. I have to be very intentional. Yes.
I just accomplish a lot by tracking, setting.
Amen. Amen. And I didn't close 100 transactions last year. I think we ended at 71. I liked 100. I had no emotional tie to it other than I was like, oh, triple digit. It looks cool. It looks good. So this year, this was my goals. This is my, November's going to be blank, you guys. Is that so bad? But I want to go back to maybe here. Yeah. So instead of using colors, I started really working out what that might look like. And if I can't do family dinner every night, it might just be like 2 family dinners for the week. Let's make this smaller. And I want you guys to start to go, okay, what am I willing to put on my how does this work? My 411. What are my goals that I want to have happen? So on my business side, oh, this is way too froofy for you guys. I have to put it into like physical because it is froofy. I want to be mindful and find my money. Does that sound so dumb? But I didn't know where some of my accounts were. No, I can't even share that stuff with you guys. It was a weird year. I wanted to work my systems, my 411, my 20%, my lead tracker, my top 50, my clients, just work with my systems. And so I would mark if we made it. Those are all personal. I got to give you guys the other side. You guys, that's not going to help. I want to give you guys stuff that you can see. I'm so sorry. I want to give you ones that you can actually rate. Is it helpful? I'm feeling a little like it does. We overcomplicate. Well, and we sometimes we just overcomplicate it. Like I was just tracking how many times did I have my morning routine completed. I knew I needed to read. There was a book, Simple Abundance, Gratitude, work on my vision and my purpose and my other work. Did I complete that? Like those are my personal things that I was working on. You can tell it was a little bit of a personal piece. And work through, it doesn't have to actually be overly complicated. So let's talk about what is it? So you want to, is somebody willing to volunteer and let's work through what should go on your list? And do a 411. Okay. So no, this is on you. So you had your big goal that you came up with. What was your goal the other day?
To make 100,000.
Make 100,000. You want to net 100,000. We can hit personal and business, but really quick, I want you to think of if there was one thing, because that's the other side on this is there's 4 lines there. You have to decide what's the one thing has to go at the top. Because if you only get to 1, that's got to be the one that matters. If you don't get to item 2, 3, or 4, it's not that it's okay, but you have to get 1 done before you can even touch 2 or 3. Does that kind of make sense? Like the most impactful. Yeah.
That's my problem. So we always talk about like money and I'm like, I don't.
Did you see what my one thing was? Like, I'll just be real, neither am I. Like, I'm not. Like, I am driven by a different purpose. And I know I'm like, am I showing up like this or am I not? And if I'm not, like, what does that look like? I do have to have some financial goals in my life. And I'm not saying you have to have it be money, because when my coach would, I'd be like, I don't care. We have enough. I have enough money. We've had enough money for 20 years. I just need enough to live. Like, I'm fine. I'm not chasing those things, but is there a feeling that you maybe are associated with? Is it that there's your goal. Figure out what that number is. That's the homework then, because okay, so we know that we wanted to make a certain amount. So on your personal side, what's the one thing you could do to ensure that you could make that goal? Let's just take one habit, one piece that would matter. Is it exercise is your lead domino? Okay. And that would be the most important thing for you personally that would help. So sometimes it is. My walk in the morning is the most important, that gives me the energy to kiss my husband when I get home. Like, it's the lead domino that helps the rest, because I've had some space, I've taken care of myself. So knowing that, thinking about, does that mean it's on, you might set, is this on, how many days a week would it feel good for you to exercise? 5. So we know 5 days a week. And how many weeks are in the year? 52. And let's take 2 weeks off for vacation. So if it was 25 times 50, who does that math? I'm not good at it. I need somebody else to jump in. 50. We're doing 25 times, oh, that's not, I'm doing weird math. You're right. 5 times 50 is 250. So your goal, the most important personal goal would be to complete 250 workouts for the year. That's as simple. You can decide if it's walks, you can decide if it, whatever that looks like. And then we're going to break that down for the month. So how many would that be? So you go 250 ... 0 right now. Now we bring that same goal down to the middle line. See how it's there? So it's 20. So if you worked out 20 times this month, that would be the win, right? Okay. So you're going to bring that, complete 20 workouts this month, 20 ... 0. And you guys can see, I just keep copying it. Once you build yours, you don't want to copy it before you build it. Like I'll send you guys a template, but it'll just have 1 on it, because you want to build this out and then just copy it, basically, not all of it. This comes on a weekly basis. You look at what it is. I personally, when I'm at my best, I take this and screenshot just what I'm supposed to do for the week. And my goal was to look at the 411 before I look at my email or social media. If I looked at that every day before I did anything else, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my priority. Yeah.
Just to clarify in my mind, this you do your annual goal is not just for the year.
No, and you have like your big goal, but then these are like goals inside of that. Do you remember the 7 areas of life?
You put it to the side of your life.
Yes. So your big goal stays the same. This is a yearly or your annual in these areas. So like this was for soul, what I was trying to do, health, relationship, and mind. And that's my yearly goal for those. Those then come down to monthly, and I say, what's it's a little chunkier here of what's going to lead up to there. But for her, let's just say it's working out. You might get more clarity next month and go, it's actually that I want to go to 5 strength training classes. I'd like to go to 5 yoga classes. I'd like to walk 5 times with my friends. And I would like to do 5 hikes or whatever that is. So you might choose that you get clear with that if you wanted to, or you might just say, if I do 20, I win, right? And then you're going to come down to your weekly one and go, okay, so work out 5 times, 5 - 0. And that's your one piece for health, right? So we know that. Now let's go down to the next side. So I'm going to move over to business, because this is our one piece for, and you can do
2,000 next year. The big one.
So that's our big goal, 100,000. We got to get clear of what this is then, because this is our big goal here. So what are our lead measures that are going to help you hit the 100,000?
Say 8 contacts?
Yes, I think we just determined it was 8 contacts a day. And a total of, and these are the commitments you got to decide if you're going to make 8 contacts a day times how many. We decided it was 250 days that they were tracking. 8 times 250 is 2,000.
We're thinking 5 days a week.
I think so, but it gives you some vacation and some grace. So I think that's 2,000 contacts. Does that sound right? So your big one here is 2,000 contacts for the year. Now, my recommendation is, besides that, now let's get a little bit clearer of like what other things can help drive that besides just talking to people. So what else would you need to be to get there? So I would recommend you guys actually have CMAs as a lead. One of the things that you're tracking that if you do will produce results. CMAs. So how many are you willing to do every week?
2 weeks. I don't know. I brought that.
It's okay if you want to do 1, 2, whatever, even if it's just 1 a week. 5 is a lot. Like it was rare that I would probably get 5 2 weeks of the month. I'd be like, I'm doing my CMAs. 2 a week.
That just big property and writing about it.
It is contacting a client. So the script sounds like this. Do you guys remember our friend Scarlett? So it sounds like this. Hey, I set a goal. You can do one of 2 scripts. I set a goal to do 2 market reports. That's one thing. Or I committed to my team that I was going to do 2 market reports this week or 10 market reports this week. Who do you know that would want to know the value of their home? And they go, well, I'm not planning to sell. Oh, I totally get it. I just promised them that I would do 2 market reports this week. There's no obligation. Who do you think would want to know the value of their house? In 1 hour, she got 9. Like, you guys should pick up the phone right now and just use that same script. Doesn't matter who it is. What if you only got 1? Well, let's say you made 20 calls in that hour and you only got 1. You got 1. You know, you have action now.
Ask them, who do you know, instead of saying, who you get to know?
Yeah, who do you know that would want to know the value? And they go, well, I guess I do, right? Yes, absolutely. So let's run it together. Ring, ring, Connor. You answer. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Connor, it's Angie Fisher. How are you? Good. Hey, I have a huge favor to ask. You know, I am working with, and depends if you've already had a conversation, hopefully, but I've already told you I'm in real estate. Hey, I have committed to my team that I am going to complete 5 market reports this week. So I was just wondering, who do you know that might want to know the value of their house? Oh, cool. No worries. This is an important goal for me. So if you think of anybody or you come across anybody today that is thinking about that or might want to know, would you mind just giving me a call or shooting me a text message? Awesome. Thank you. And I made him, every time we script practice, I tell him he has to tell me no, because everybody goes, oh yeah. So you always have to tell people no 2 times. But if they do, let's go the other way and say, so I committed to my team that I was going to do 5 market reports this week. Who do you know that might want to know the value of their house? Oh, awesome. That's fantastic. Well, let's do this. Do you want to give them a heads up, like just through a group text message and let them know that I'm going to give them a quick call? There's no obligation, but I do need to get a little bit of information about his house. Does that sound good? Fantastic. So just shoot put us on a group text and then I'll take it from there. Awesome. Now let's do that. You want to know, because I'm calling homeowners, just so you know. You don't call renters.
Not to necessarily sell their house.
It depends. Like, you'll feel it, you'll know, but you don't have to. I just want to, I'm that really but remember, the energy in which you do something is more important than what you do, right? So it is important that we go, I really am just trying to get a market report. I just want to practice. And then we have market reports to do that's going to allow us to do that. It's not like we're just picking something randomly. Don't get 10 before you stop. Get 2 and let's practice them, because it tipped her upside down. I ended up just doing them because it was too much. It was further beyond her capabilities. I was like, I sat down with her. I was like, you don't know how to do a listing alert. I'm so host. I didn't expect her to get 9, but that also shows you if you do, they'll give you the information that and it's no obligation. Like, I'm just happy. That's all I really want to do is I'm just practicing. So, is that something that you would want to know the value of your house? Oh my gosh, that would help me out a ton. Okay, well, right now I am just working with my team. Do you mind if I give you a call back in a little while and we'll just verify some of the information about your house? Great. The reason I do that is you are in call mode. Don't stop it there. You're going to get excited and be like, I have a lead. And you'll get sidetracked. You are to be calling. If you need to call your 25, call your 25 and then go back to that. Okay. Or else you're going to stop and you're going to be so excited the first person told you yes. And your whole purpose was to talk to people. So don't call them back and be like, hey, Connor, is now a good time for us to chat? Yeah. Fantastic. You know, I have a little bit of information from the county records, but can you just give me a quick rundown? How many bedrooms do you guys have? 5 bedrooms and bathrooms? Fantastic. It looks like you're a 1/4 acre. Does that sound right? And you guys have a 2-car garage? Is your guys' basement finished? Okay, great. And if you had to rate your bathrooms and kitchens on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate them? 9. Awesome. So have you guys done some updates on them? Oh, that is so cool. Well, fantastic. I may have a few more questions as I go through this, but I'll get everything put together. While I've got you on the phone, do you have any other real estate questions I should be doing research for you for? Fantastic. I'm hoping to have these done this week. I'll let you know as soon as I do. You have 2 choices. You can actually go and present it to them in person if you'd like, or you can just send it to them in an email. It depends. If you get somebody who's kind of interested, I probably would go get it in person. It doesn't hurt you to get face-to-face time. Remember, that level of communication is going to go higher if you do. However, it is going to cost you time and energy and money. And it just depends. You're going to have to decide. If not, you can send it to them in an email. I love Cloud CMA over email. I think it's beautiful. I don't like it as much on print. So, but if we do that, is like, that should be a matrix that you guys are tracking for yourself as well. If you're trying to talk to people, and then all of a sudden you do have more that you're doing. So if our goal, thank you for getting through that, 2 a week. So 2 a week, 8 a month. And 8 a month times 12 is 96 for the year. But 100 sounds so much sexier. Can we just do 100? But you know that that's 2 a week, basically. 100 a year. So 100. If you did 100, yeah. Well, and honestly, 2 a week would be 52 weeks would get there. I think I did 4 a month. So I think you're set. I think you can still take 2 weeks off and still be good. 100 CMAs. But that seems like a lot. So then you're going to break it down this week in your weekly goals. How many do I need to do? So when I start to do that, because there's a lot of things on here, I might put them on the same line or separate. That's kind of my production line of what's my goal. My goal is to talk to 50 people this week, --0. And I can update it every day and put in how many I did or at the end of the week. And then my CMAs would be 2 --0. And as soon as you get it done, it feels so good. I like to cross mine off or turn them green. Green was a little too crazy for me. I had to switch over. And I do like to just cross them off inside that program, but you can do it on paper or whatever that looked like. Now, the next thing, those are the 2 pieces. Now, if you were to go, what is another lead measure that's going to help you? You're like, just tell me what to do, Angie. Okay, so let's work through open houses, if that's an area that you want to be in. So open houses. And how many open houses would you do? How many are you thinking? So 1 a week is 50 for the year. How's that feel? Does that feel like?
Feels like if I did that, that would be really, I'd feel proud of myself. 1 a week all year.
And I think there's 2 sides of this, because I do think goals are good to stretch you, but I also think it's super important that you set yourself up for something you actually are going to do. Or you can also reevaluate too and go, so if you want to go 50 open houses this week.
Not here.
Or sorry, this year, 50 this week, 50 open houses this year. So then on a monthly basis, that's going to be 4-ish a month. 5 would be solid. Basically 1 a week. And then being able to go, being able to track that. How many people are currently in your database? Yeah, 200. So did the 200 people in your database give you the result you were looking for last year?
No, but that's not their fault. It's my fault.
Do you feel like the people in your database are the right people who are going to give you business right now?
You know, that could be a little sketchy.
So in the MREA, one of the models is the lead gen model, lead gen model. And you got to build the database, and then you have to systematically communicate to the database. And then the third thing, you guys are in book club, you got to feed the database.
So what if you do look and you say, you know what, these people, I don't think they're ever going to give me any business. Do you just delete them, or what do you do with?
I would shift my focus on growing it. Just grow it. So then go, okay, if you don't put new in and you delete, the reason you haven't deleted the people you don't like.
So if you add new, then you can delete the people.
So your goal might be to upgrade my database. So this is because I'm a little less into money or whatever. I might say something like upgrade my database to B or above. And I say that like A, B, C, or D. If someone's a D in my database and I saw them at Walmart, I would turn and walk the other direction. They're still in my database, but I don't really want to talk to them. So my goal could be upgrade my database to 200 people that are at least a B or above. somebody that you want to talk to that you would call, that you're not gonna not pick up the phone. Yeah.
So I do need to give dump some people.
So then we know if that's my big goal is to, so my big goal would be on the year one is like like kind of on the sub-year deal. Upgrade my database to a B or above with at least 200 people. Now, how do I do that? You decide. I'm not going to tell you. I swear every time I delete people from my database, they call me and I sell their house. So I don't know. Leisha on my team says, so I delete. I'm like, psh.
Look and say, you know what, I don't want to call them.
If you,
Close to them.
the thing is that you got to decide if you just really don't want to, or is it a story you're telling yourself? You could probably pick up the phone and maybe build a relationship. So I would say, don't tell the story.
Work on it.
Yeah.
Work on the database.
If they're people you really don't like, delete them. They're not serving you. But if you're like, I just don't know you, build a relationship. Yeah. Start to do things. Ask them if they want to know how much their house is worth. Not because you want to sell it, just because you've got a goal and you're trying to reach it. Yes.
I would myself because I didn't want to go in there, reorganize and update. I wanted to start.
Feel good about how it was organized. Mm-hmm. And so the action steps around that, like your action steps of being like, so I want to add 2 new people to my, let's do 2. If you did 2 a week, that's only 8 per month. That maybe is not enough. But it's probably more doable. Like there's no reason why you couldn't have 2 new people you add to your database a week. I always like round numbers, but they don't work in the month well. I'm like, that's 10. 2 a week is 8 a month. 8 a month. So 100 for the year, that'd be 96. So 100 for the year would feel, that's what I would recommend is to add 100 new people to my database this month, 100 new people to my database this year. And then your monthly and weekly. So that means you got to add 10 or 12 this month. Was that right? Or 8? I'm thinking I'm doing my math opposite. 8 this month on your monthly goal. And then you actually got to go down my action step. How am I going to do it? Where am I going to meet these people? Am I going to actually try to source them from the open house? Am I going to go join a new book club? Go to the rec center, whatever those pieces are.
Chat. I'm gonna have to start chatting.
Well, then all of a sudden it changes when it's on your list, though. It changes because you're like, I got to meet 2 this week. So I actually have to go find them at the gym or go find them at the grocery store line or Maverick or whatever that is. And if you're like, I got to go find 2 new people this week. And if you don't want to go knock on doors, then you got to find somewhere. But now you're like, okay, I'm going to put 100 in. Next matrix is then I am going to, well, you're going to have some action steps down below going, well, if my goal at the year is to have them all that way, well, is my database tagged? Is your database tagged? No, do you have A, B, C, or D tagged? I would actually, that would be, what's the one thing this week that can help put me on track would be tag my database.
And if they're like, well, make sure you call everybody if you don't want.
You might not even, that I would take it as a separate action. I would just say, yes, I'm going to complete all.
Raving fans of you. B is like close relationships. C would be like, yes, I know them, but I'm not super tight with them.
Mhm.
You know, could build that relationship better. If they're C, D, I don't want to speak to this person.
Yeah. And if they called me, so the people in your database, if they called you and you didn't want to answer the phone, they should get deleted. That would be my matrix. Not that you don't want to call them, but if they called you and you were like,
No, I don't think I do that.
then I wouldn't delete them. They stay.
They
And
must
then,
be like my cousin's kids that don't really know me.
so
like,
these
to build-
action steps down here are how am I going to get there? So your action step this week might be, I am going to hold 1 open house. I am going to go to 1 social event in my neighborhood. I'm going to, whatever those are. And those action steps are on your weekly basis down below. Those get done every week. You look at it and you go, how am I going to move my business forward? What am I committing to? I like to do these either Friday afternoon or Sunday. You guys, I'm not working. I feel really guilty right now. I'm not working a 411 right now.
Well, you will. 'Cause you're
I am. I've been this year, but for the last 90 days, I have not been working a 411. I have not written my 135. Yes. I will commit that I will have my 135 for the coaching program, and I will put my 411.
It's because you've been just starting this whole new group and you've had a lot going on.
There's a lot, and I'd be better if I sat down with the intent. Essentially,
You only need to do one or the other, right? But do it.
basically, a 135 gives you like a good vision. That's kind of like
whichever
my
works better
vision.
for you.
And then coming in and getting like your 135, you don't touch every week. You do it and it's basically done, but then it goes into your top annual goal, basically. Okay. You had something, you raised your hand and I
Oh,
missed it.
I was just gonna say, there's like a Gary Keller quote that, it's like, be careful with trusting calendars because it's someone else's system for keeping track of time. So like when you said the math in a month is difficult, like.
Uh-huh.
you can change that.
Yeah.
You don't have to-
And I always find that I'm 1 week off, so I always end up with a week off to the end over there because I'm like, I need one more week in here. And all of those areas of life really are important as we start to work through. And you're going to have, the thing is, this is now all production. And you go, well, I actually need to put some action steps in there so I can make the money. Is my business, so being intentional and go, what are my steps I'm doing this week to move it forward? I'm going to attend the business basics financial class. I'm going to go do my business account. Like those things are they just start to add up. But if you can do one a week, that helps you move it forward. It's getting that ready. And then having somebody you turn this into is super powerful. That was the other thing is I moved out of the coaching program that I was in, and I was sent at my time expired. I paid for last year, and that's actually what it was. Now that I think about it out loud,
You're not in your.
I didn't have somebody, so it wasn't even a coaching program with KW. And I told her the one thing I needed was that I needed to send her my 411 every week, and I expected it. I was like, that's what I need. It was in a frou-frou coaching. And I was like, but no, I need this. And that expired in August, and I haven't sent it to anyone since. Woo, that was an aha.
Accountability.
Oh, you guys.
So another idea.
Does that mean I need to show you my 411 every week?
So like, say I'm gonna post this and thing,
Social media, see, I
Because
am
that
good at
can
social
help.
media.
Mm-hmm.
that can help lead generate. that
Although
can
it
help.
has not been a huge source of leads for me yet.
Do you have
but
it
maybe
public
that's
or private?
public.
Oh.
On
Well,
Instagram.
And I think the other thing is still just, it doesn't hurt you though, but you're strategic about it. So same for me, mine is post daily and it's like 7. Did I make my 7? Did this? Yeah. And make it. So the thing is every goal has a number associated. Every goal does, whether we think it does or not. Our marriage totally does. You can track that if you actually did 52 dates this year, do you think that would help or hurt your marriage? If you had intentional time that was an hour without cell phones every day, you just have to come up with whatever the number is. There is a number attached to everything you want to improve in your life. And we say, oh, I don't want to make it all like numeric or like planned. But if we really thought, well, what is it? Like, even as froofy as I am, I can usually come up with what is it if I can put a number on if I've moved my relationship, or I can be intentional on moving my relationship forward. Did I do 4 walks with my mom? Did I once a month get with my friends? Oh, I got to get back on my 411, you guys. I'm realizing that
Just making it measurable.
measurable. And there's lots of different 411 formats. I personally like this one. It's on Excel and I can type it and then I can screenshot it so it can live in my notes on a weekly basis.
Probably the link
I'll
to do it online.
Yes, because and you can do it on paper, but I do like to be able to do that. And so your guys' goal as well, because this is what I would want you to bring to a one-on-one appointment, is I've done my 411. This is where I'm at. This is what I need help with. No. But this is why we're talking about this over, like, these are the things we're talking about so that one-on-ones can be effective, the 135s and the 411s. But then you might just sit in my office and be like,
I want to do.
Angie, I look sad. what should I do? So hope you're okay. Hope you're okay. He got in a bar fight.
A lot of bars around here.
Yes. We miss you.
I know, I kept looking over.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go get some stuff done too, you guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I know I gotta work through.
Through what?
I hope your time here is valuable.
Oh my gosh, it's amazingly valuable. What are you talking about? Everybody clap.
That's not what I want. I actually need
it
something
is.
different though.
What do you
But the
want?
thing is that when people say that to you, stop spending time, well, people who are growing, when everybody says everything was good, they stop spending time with them or asking them for feedback. I actually am looking for real solid feedback. I will have send out a form. We need some feedback on the program. That was feedback today. We have all the resources, but I don't know where they're at. That was feedback.
And choose which avenue you want to learn. Because I
There is a lot of stuff out there. So it's like, which direction is the most important for us to go?
A little stack of papers. I have no idea what they were.
I feel like Rich should hear too. Out we go.
Okay, so I got handed a little stack of papers. No, Susie wasn't even in her job. And it lasted maybe 10 minutes. And they start sending you stuff and it is so overwhelming that you don't even know what it is that you're doing. I really like the idea of bullet lists and I know that we have it, but like how long was I here before I figured out there's KW Westfield and then there's the other KW site and then there's the market. It's a lot. So if you would like to run it by, like the dummies, I will volunteer.
Okay. So the onboarding is one and okay. Actually, I'm not going to send you guys a form. I know I already have enough on my list. I would love it if you guys either sent me a text message or in our one-on-ones, take 5 minutes of sharing any feedback was really what I'm looking for is feedback back so that we can get better. And I love that you like me and I appreciate it.
No, I do love you. I think you're an amazing person. I love being in your presence because I always feel excited to work when I'm in your presence. I get motivated and excited, and that's saying a lot because I've been in a lot of classes with a lot of people, and you have that gift. So, and you have that gift to. I'm speaking for me, and I think probably I would imagine everybody. You have that gift, but I will say I never walk out of here thinking I didn't get anything from this. I always walk out of here going, "Oh my gosh." I always feel that way. I've never.
So that's the other piece of me trying to get one-on-one so that you guys have strategic things you can leave and come back and do. Leave and come back and do like, these are your 2 assignments, go, come back.
Yeah.
These are your specific needs, go and come back. And I think that's a piece so for my own like self-reflection, I think that's a piece we're missing in the program is one-on-one and interaction and my ability to get to know people one-on-one.
And those of you who are new,
No.
You have your own life. It's true. Those of you who-
She Marco Polos me at 6:30 when she
Go
drives
to
home.
another class and you'll see. She's so good.
Oh.
She's so good at communicating.
So
motivating.
the energy is good. Systems are hard for me.
It's so hard for me.
And so if I can run into a system and get a system that can work, but creating the systems are challenging and creating the processes are they're challenging for me.
I love what you
For-
said because I thought I was just, an old lady and this is my problem. From you. Yeah,